Welcome back to the Three Parallels podcast with your host, the Dr. Jason Branch, where we rediscover who we were, we embrace who we are, and make room for who we're trying to become. If that's you, you're in the right place. You're in the best place because this show is designed to help people help themselves. How do we do that? It's figuring out who we used to be, giving that person what they need, find out who you are now, giving you whatever you need, and listening to the inner voice of your future self and finding out who you're designed to be. That's what this show does. Every episode is a breadcrumb, a ripple. It's an opportunity for you to get to know you by hearing the stories and truth, lived experiences of other people and myself. My hope is this podcast can provide transformation for anyone who's open and willing to accept what we have to offer. We is this entire community I'm building. And I'm learning how to do this in real time and showing you that it's okay to be imperfect, that it's okay to be human, that it's okay to make mistakes, that it's okay for you to be exactly who you are and for you to discover who you truly are. So as you can see, for those who are watching, for those who are listening, I want to let you in on a little secret. I'm coming to you live from Battle Cat Studios. Where's Battle Cat Studios? Wherever I say it is. And from today, I got a nice little spot that's, hidden in plain sight. And my location is not really important, but what's around me is joy, is love, is peace. It's tranquility, it's excitement. It's a lot of different things happening in real time. And I just had a birthday recently. Appreciate the love. And I'm just doing what feels good to me, with the expectation, if it feels good to me, it's going to feel good to somebody. That may be you. If it is, buckle up, buttercup, we're finna go on a ride. If it isn't, come back later when you're ready. So let's dive in. I want to share a story. And this story relates to the guest that we're about to have on next week. And you are in for a treat because these guests, I'm bringing two people in, which I'm noticing has been a trend, which is a great trend because I kind of like bringing more people on the show. And I feel like before long, it's going to end up being the Wu-Tang Clan. Like that's how many people are going to be on this podcast at one time because everybody has a story, everybody has experience. And as you put people together, there are experiences within that experience and it's going to happen. It's already happening in real time. So this is a journey that we're on together and we're going to figure it out as we go because if you think about life, that's what we're all doing. We're figuring it out as we go. I'm just allowing myself to speak about it and allowing you on this journey with me because I'm doing this stuff anyway. I'm inviting you in. So welcome. So story time. Let's get right in. Talking about the next guest. And these next guests, I had the opportunity to meet when I was at a conference in D.C. So this conference in D.C. Was invitation only. It was sponsored by Motivo, which will be a sponsor of some episodes coming up soon. It was a conference of the Behavioral Health Network. So it's a conference that was invitation only of people that's in the mental health and wellness profession of how do we get better as clinicians, providers, administrators, CEOs, like from top to bottom, anybody related to this profession directly and indirectly, how do we get better? And that's what the conference was for. So for many of you who know this life of going to conferences, it can be overwhelming, it can be exhausting, which is normal. And in order for us to begin, by the way, this is a real background, okay? It's not even a Zoom background. Again, the show is growing, okay? It's changing. It's got a little budget now. I need you to see growth in real time because if this show can grow, that means we can as well. Figuring it out as we go. So back to the story. In DC, invitation only conference, I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling real good. And being an empath, I absorb the energy of other people. And by day 2 of this conference, which is another conversation for another day about the conference, I want to talk about the post-conference. So by day 2 of this conference, I am exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally, because I'm drained, I'm spent. For me, I am a extroverted introvert, meaning I can be on when it's time to be on, shaking hands, kissing babies, doing all that good stuff. And then once my social battery dies, I have nothing left, absolutely nothing. So therefore, I usually find places to retreat And that's in my room, my Airbnb, or wherever I am. And then I retreat, recharge, and then I'm out. I usually get out, walk around the city just to recharge, revitalize myself. So, what I'm going to share with you is exactly what happened by me choosing to be me and do things I've never done before. Done, D-U-N, different, uncomfortable, and new. And I want to share the experience that I had by doing that, which led to the next guest that's going to be on the show. I want you to see how organic things happen when you just allow life to be. And I want you to see how I'm choosing to live life and then sharing it with you so you can do the same or in your own way. So, story time. I leave the conference because I'm overwhelmed with all the energy that I'm giving out. So I decide it's time for me to leave. And I left before the conference was over because I'm not concerned about who I didn't meet, because whoever I met, I'm supposed to meet. Just know that when you go to conference and networking, whoever you're supposed to meet, you're going to meet. Whoever you're not supposed to meet, you're not going to meet at that time. So I feel as though I met everybody I needed to meet. Had some drinks, shake some hands, kiss some babies. Okay, my time is done. So I left the networking event or the conference and went back to my Airbnb. Now I'm suited and booted, full suit, button down, took my tie off. I may not have had a tie on at all. I don't remember these days. So I walked back to my Airbnb, which is really nice. I took a shower, changed clothes, and decided to just walk. So I'm in the DuPont Circle area, for those who may know, which is thriving, it's active. There's a lot of people just out, different types of people from all walks of life, just out living their best life. So I decided to do the same thing. And on this journey, I just experienced different things along the way just by being present. As you know, gators are more present than not. Salamanders can't be present because I'm worried about the future or the past. As a gator, I'm present. I'm curious. I'm consistent. I'm just here. And whatever I'm supposed to have, what I'm supposed to attract is going to find me. So that's how I'm living, So I leave my Airbnb and I'm just walking around DuPont Circle, and whatever I feel moved or attracted to, the energy, I go to that place. So there was a bookstore, walked in, whatever I'm supposed to experience, I experienced it. Restaurant, walk in, what I experienced, I was supposed to experience. A bar, I even hit a Latin club randomly. And this Latin club was jumping, random. And I just went to different places and experienced whatever I was supposed to receive at that time. And it was great. It was great. And as I'm walking, I'm just noticing how I'm feeling. And I'm slowly slowing down, reconnecting with myself. All the voices, all the noise, all the, the mask, all the things are slowly dissipating, right? It's just me and nobody knows me. And I'm hidden in plain sight, which is the best place I love to be, is hidden in plain sight. It's how I recharge, it's how I reconnect. So as I'm walking, I'm going past different places and different stores and storefronts, and I'm seeing different people. And there was just moment after moment after moment. And I'm paying attention to every moment because I'm paying attention to me and how I feel. For example, I walk past a few people that just couldn't help but to look at me. I don't know why, but they were looking at me, kind of staring. And the old me would look at this as in, insecurity around my blackness in this new environment. And the new me is looking at, oh, they see my light shining. Listen, I'm giving you what I give myself. You can determine how you view things based off of the person that you are or who you're trying to become. The old me would have had insecurities, feelings about what people are thinking about me. The future me, I give reason why people stare. Because the reality is I'll never know why unless I ask. But when was the last time you asked somebody why they're staring at you? I'll wait. Exactly. So instead of assuming in the negative way, I can assume in a positive way, healthy way. So everybody's staring at me, know the star that's shining right now. And I believed it myself. So I'm just living my best life, doing what works best for me at the time. And there's different people that just give me these different looks, which has nothing to do with me. And then I gave a look to people that was around this particular person. So as I'm walking, no goal, no idea in mind, just walking. And I ran across a woman who had children. This woman with maybe a toddler on her hip. And a newborn, less than 3-month baby in a carriage, and this woman was unhoused. She was homeless. She had a sign out, and people were just walking past her, to and from, walking past. And it seemed like no one cared. No one stopped. No one paid attention. And I stopped. I slowed down. Sorry, I didn't stop. I slowed down because I wanted to give something, but I didn't have anything to give. I didn't have any cash in my pocket or anything like that. But I slowed down enough to let her see that I see her, although I couldn't serve. And then I didn't think about it until after I passed her that I could have served with my words, with my voice, with my truth. I could have served in a lot of different capacities outside of financial. So there was a lot of different thoughts that was happening for me. But as I walked past this woman, my heart just stopped for a moment as it skipped a beat, recognizing humanness, recognizing people. And as a, fairly new dad, I understand, a fairly new dad who's married, who is a partnership, it's hard raising children, even with two parents or more. It's even harder doing it by yourself. I can't imagine doing it by yourself and not having a place to call your own. I couldn't imagine. And this woman was doing it. And she's rocking the baby, holding the other baby, hoping someone provides for her so she'll get her next meal. And there were people walking by because this is the norm. Everybody's living their norm. Everybody's living their truth. And this was new for me. I haven't experienced this before, but being a dad gives me a different lens. And this lens opened my heart in ways that had never opened before, where I felt so much pain, but it was my pain and my pain for this person that I couldn't help in the capacity that I wanted to at the time. And looking around and seeing everybody and their mama and their mama's mama walk past without batting an eye, without slowing down, without stopping whatever they were doing in life. Me slowing down allowed me to feel empathy. Me slowing down allowed me to understand what I didn't understand. Me slowing down allowed me to take advantage of the moment that I had of being present to feel what I felt. And that feeling was a gift that kept giving. What I mean by this feeling that kept giving is I understood humanness, meaning at any point in time, we can be anywhere. The person walking by without batting an eye, the person who's in the situation, the newborn, the toddler, me, all these different people come from people, human, vulnerability, authenticity, all these things. And I felt it and I saw it and I paused. And I reflected on the experience and continued to move because I gave myself permission to let go of what I carried for her because she's been carrying it for however long she's been carrying it and she carries it well. Meaning she was in this situation before I arrived and I had to think about the other side of the coin of this is what resiliency looks like. Because although the baby was crying and the toddler was crying and people were looking and people were passing, she was there solid. Didn't flinch, didn't move like a statue, but present. And she was fully present. Mentally, she may or may not have been, but she was there. And everybody was having their things and she was just there, present and ready to receive whatever was offered. And that moment really stood out to me of how much I care about people. And also it allows me to see people. And that's us. So I continue my journey, reflecting on that experience that I had. And I kept running into people who were unhoused and they had a story. Everybody had a story. It's just a story I don't know yet. But everybody has a story. So as I'm walking through, I find this park and I'm hanging out at the park and there's more people, that's unhoused in the park, living their best life. And I was able to let go of what wasn't mine. And what wasn't mine was the lived experiences of other people that landed them in the position that they are. I don't know the why. I don't know a lot of things. So I can only assume unless I ask. And I chose not to ask because I'm trying to take care of me. How dare I try to take care of somebody else if I'm barely taking care of me at this time? And I recognize my trauma related to believing that I can save everybody, even as a therapist, even as a human being doing human things, trying to figure me out, also looking at how can I help other people. So that opportunity passed, but the feeling never left. So I don't know if you know this or not, most guests that's on this show are curated from experiences, time, place, organic. It's just, I don't know who's going to be on the show next week, week after next. I have no idea. But whoever's here is who's supposed to be here at this time. And whenever you listen, however you listen, is how you're supposed to get the information that you get to do whatever you choose to do with it. So I was in a space of wanting to save and wanting to help. And then I recognized my old self in the way, wanting to fix, save, or help everybody that crossed my path. And I saw the old me and I smiled because I recognized the current version of me. I'm okay not helping because I spent most of my life trying to help everyone else except myself. So there was a switch that happened for me while I'm in this park, looking at who I can save and recognize, let me look at me. How do I save myself? How do I take advantage of this moment that I have right now in DC and move away from trying to rescue everybody while I'm tripling and fumbling over my own cape because it's too long? So at that moment, I decided to cut my cape off to a length that fits me, which allows me to fly. I would challenge you to do the same thing. Hop in the comments, hop in the comment section, type it in. Are you ready to fly? Are you willing to fly? What does flying look like to you? Have you cut your cape off? Are you still rocking your cape? Superman, superwoman, superperson? What are you doing to save yourself instead of trying to save everybody else? That's a challenge. Do something with it. Little life work. Ripples and breadcrumbs. So in that moment, I stopped concerning myself with other people and how they have chosen to live. And I decided I'm going to live for me. So I asked myself, I said, self. He said, huh? I said, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. What am I in the mood for? You know, I'm in D.C. Random night. My responsibilities are done. Let me see what else is out here. Let me go have some fun. Let me go do some things I've never done before. So I go on my phone and I thought about it. I want to hit a concert. I'm sure there's live music around here somewhere, feeding into my connectivity, spirit of music. Which for me, as you've heard before, music connects all of us, human. It's a human thing. Music, food connects people. I don't care where you are, who you are. If there's a certain song that come on, I don't care what's going on in your life, you're going to dance, you're going to tap your feet, you're going to do something. And I decided that music was going to be my place of refuge for tonight. Instead of saving, let me go party. So I was on my phone and I scrolled to see what concerts are out. I'm checking out Song Kick. If you're not hip, check it out. Spotify. I'm just going down my music library to find out who's here, who's available. So I'm scrolling through and I see certain people that's performing at different concerts that I've never heard about, different venues. So then I go to Spotify and listen to some of the music to find out which artists that I don't know I want to go experience what they have to offer. And I went down probably about 7 or 8 different artists and groups and didn't find anything that met my interest. It didn't move me. And then there was an artist that was performing at the Pie Factory by the name of Button Masher. The name alone caught my attention. Who is this Button Masher dude? And I went to Spotify, listened to a few tracks, and I was like, yo, this is it. This is where I'm going to go. This is what I'm going to do tonight in real time. So as I'm listening to different tracks, Button Master is a producer, and this producer makes different music related to video games and tech and techno. And it took me right back to my childhood. So I listened to a few songs and I got excited. I got hype. So all those feelings and thoughts that I had related to how to save everybody else, I now have those feelings towards myself. And I'm like, how do I pour into my cup? And this was pouring back into my childhood because I was a video game fanatic growing up, especially the games that he was using some of the background music to curate music. And it was phenomenal. So I knew this is where I'm going to go. So in the middle of this park, on this park bench on my phone, surrounded by all these unhoused individuals who live in their best life, I decided to live mine. I ordered a ticket on the spot. Pretty reasonable, $25 at the Pie Factory. And I'm like, Pie Factory, what's this about? So I hop in the Uber. I beeline to the Pie Factory. I go, tickets already purchased, scan, I go in, and it's an aura of just good energy there. The Pie Factory is actually, they sell pies, like real pies. Apple pie, peach cobbler pie, real pies. Downstairs and upstairs, it's a concert venue. And I go upstairs and it's a crowd of people and it's different types of people there, different energy. And they had a rooftop outside and I just enjoyed the environment. And all the things I was thinking before about rescuing and saving left, where I'm here to enjoy myself because life gonna be life, and no matter what I do, I'm choosing to do this. And while I was there, it was an experience that I had where nobody knew who I was. I barely know who I am at the time. And I'm about to enjoy an artist I heard for the first time less than 20 minutes ago. I'm at this person's live concert. And when I'm there, I'm seeing all these different type of people that are fans of this artist because they got t-shirts on that said, Button Masher, and these little 18-bit, 16-bit characters. And there's people with pajamas on and Mario outfits, Luigi, like it's cartoons, it's video games, and people dressed up to come to this show and see him perform. So I'm hyped now. I'm like, yo, what is this about? I found a great spot. The drinks were good. The bar was nice. Customer service was top notch. I was having the time of my life. And the person who was performing haven't even gotten on the stage yet. It was a jazz band that started first, and they killed it. Local jazz group. They were phenomenal. Wrote their own songs. It was a brother-sister duo, one on the sax, one on the bass, and they lit the place up. So I was done after them. I was already done. But I decided, you came here to see Button Masher. Let's see what this guy's all about. So, it gets dark. Button Masher hits the stage. People go bananas. And phenomenal set. He's doing his thing. And in between sets, there's a little talk here and there. And I look in front of me and it's two people, and I'm assuming they're a couple, it's male and female. And they're there fully dressed with these, Mario, Luigi cartoon video game pajamas, like full set pajamas in a club. I'm sorry, at the Pie Factory. And it's like they're the only two there. And they are having the time of their life. It's just them, and they're just feeding off each other. And it's this love, it's this energy, it's this connection, it's this truth. And they did not care about what anybody, this is the vibe that I got. They didn't care about who was there. They were there to have a great time. They were fully present. They were fully engaged, and they were living the life that I was practicing in real time. And their energy was so live. It was so contagious. I said, yo, I want them on the podcast. Now, mind you, I don't know these people. They don't know me. I'm finna take a risk, but that's what Gators do. They're courageous. I decided to be courageous and at least introduce myself. So as soon as we had a small moment in between the set that I could talk, I came over to him. I introduced myself. I said, hey, hey, how y'all doing, man? Y'all having the time of your life. I gave him love first. Having the time of my life, and I love it. I'm a hugger. Are y'all okay with a hug? And the guy was like, yeah, absolutely, man. Let's go. Because the energy was so nice. So he hugged me. I hugged his lady. And it was just a moment. And we all grouped hug. And we're just there feeling the energy and the vibe from the music and the time and the place that we're in right now. And nothing else mattered but us. And I said, man, y'all doing it big. I love this energy. I just gave them so much love. And they were very receptive of it. And I said, hey, out on a limb. This is real fast before he comes on his next set. Um, I'm a podcast host, and I would love for y'all to be on the podcast just to share the story of this energy because y'all are authentic, y'all transparent, y'all baby gators. Like, yo, what's up? Can I have you on the show? And they both looked at each other. They looked at me, and it was like, absolutely, let's do it. Didn't know my name. Like I told the share my name. They shared their name. We didn't know, but they took a risk, and I took a risk, and it paid off. And I hugged them a couple of times. We all was having a great night. And I said, man, I just want to share, like, you two are living so authentic and you're out here living your best life in DC and it's the concert, blah, blah, blah. Like, I can't wait to learn more about you. And y'all are living authentically and y'all doing things that everybody else here isn't doing. And I love it and I'm here for it. And the guy, he said, hey, yeah, we're having a good time, but just because other people aren't doing what we're doing doesn't mean they're not authentic. Man, he slapped me so hard. He slapped me so hard with new knowledge, new information, and he challenged my belief because my belief was that the other people that's there with all this music, all this energy, because they weren't dancing, because they weren't moving, because they were just sticks in the mud, I assumed they weren't being authentic. And he corrected me, and I couldn't deny it. That just because they weren't doing what we were doing doesn't mean they're not being who they are. And that really stuck with me. And I kept thinking about it. I couldn't even enjoy the rest of the show because I was called in. I wasn't called out. I was called in by this guy that I just met who just dropped a gem on me related to my belief and my perspective around what's authentic and what's not, especially when it comes to music and partying. So that moment struck a chord with me, and I couldn't even pay attention to the rest of the show because I was so taken aback by what he shared and called me in, and it connected dots to a previous experience I had. Years ago, for my 30th birthday, I think it was 30. I'm not the best on my time, but I had a party in Birmingham, Alabama. And I threw my own party with a few guys here and there, but for the most part, it's my own party. It was on a rooftop in Birmingham at night with lights. And I invited all my friends and people in the city. And I decked it out. We had all the food you can eat, beer and wine, music. It was live. And I danced the whole night. Because that's what I do. That's what I do. That's what I've always done. Anytime there's music, I'm on the dance floor. I'm in the front. I'm getting the thing going. I start the club. I close it down. Like, that's how I get down when it comes to music. So being at my party, I expected everyone to be as excited as I was. I expected everybody to dance the night away like I did. And there were people that just sitting in a corner drinking and having a good time, listening to music, but nobody was dancing. And I had a moment. And my friend at the time, I was kind of letting her know, like, yo, ain't nobody dancing. Like, what's the deal? And she's a person that don't really dance, not going to be dancing publicly, privately, all that, but not publicly. And she shared with me, like, yo, just because people are not dancing don't mean they're not having a good time. And I'm like, but they're not dancing. You're supposed to be dancing. It's my birthday. I'm having a good time. Everybody needs to have a good time. And she said, just because they're not dancing doesn't mean they're not having a good time. I didn't understand it until that guy, whose name is PB No J, that was at the club, at the Pie Factory. Those two stories then connected because I understood the previous version of me that had an expectation that people would do what I do. I live life differently, and it's okay how I live life. Other people could choose to live life the way they want. But just because they live the life differently than me doesn't make theirs less valuable, less important, less authentic than mine. So that was the first experience. This was the second. There won't be a third. Because I learned from this experience to accept people for who they are and who they are not. And just because people move differently from you doesn't make them anything besides the idea or identity that we create for them. And that's not fair. because we don't want anybody to do that to us, although people do it. So imagine if you decided today, from listening to this episode, to live life on your own terms and not judge people, ridicule, talk about, dismiss, devalue, disrespect people for being different from you. And this goes from a baby to somebody's grandmama. Because imagine you going home and your family don't remind you that you gained a few pounds. Imagine you being able to bring somebody home and nobody judge you for who's there with you. Imagine you being able to do, be, travel, experience, explore whatever you want without judgment, ridicule, or anything. What I learned about humans, man, we love to talk shit, especially about everybody else. But imagine if you start talking that is to yourself. That's exactly what I was able to do. And I went back in time to turning 30, where I had a really difficult moment with people not doing what I would do because I expected people to be me. How often do you expect people to be exactly who you are and not recognize that there's only one you? There's several versions, but there's only one you, and no one can be like you. So therefore, instead of expecting people to be someone they're not, let me embrace who I am and show people the real me. That's exactly what I was able to do from being called in and choosing to live life on my terms. I dance, I have a good time. Music moves me, and just because it moves me doesn't mean it moves everyone. So I want you to think about all these things that come up for you in this episode because, as I mentioned, we're going somewhere. I don't know where. I have a vision, I have an idea, and it's going to happen organically. But these conversations is how we bring about change, because this random person that I didn't know connected dots to a former version of myself at 30, where I still held on to that belief until this time, presently. Now, I can let go of this belief or idea of how people need to be, especially around me. That happened currently, and it took me all the way back to my 30-year-old self, who still held on to people not dancing at my party. Now, I'm freeing that version of me by giving him permission to know that this party was for you and all different versions of you, and you invited people in and they can celebrate you or celebrate themselves any way they choose. That's an example of giving yourself freedom from a person, place, thing, mindset, belief, mentality that you once were in. For many of us, think about things that happened from birth to where you are right now. We're still holding on to people, places, and things from that time that doesn't serve us anymore. That belief from 30 years old, I still carried to 43 years old until this person called me in and allowed me to see things differently. And that changed my entire life, because being a different person changes your life. So I'm excited to have PB&J and Elise on the show next week. Those two people that I called, that I took a risk and invited them on the show, and they called me out. I'm bringing them on so I can get to know them as well as you. And they're my family now. Anybody that's been on this podcast is family, and I have access. And if I have access, you have access. Keep playing with me. When I get Spike Lee and Denzel on here, you're going to have access too, but you're going to have to bring something to the table. Another story for another day. But for today, I also want to share that button masher. I sent them a DM. Hey, I got a podcast. You want to be on the show? So if anybody you know, anybody that's on, that's connected to button masher, I want him on the show because he has a story too, and I want to hear it. And I don't believe in coincidences. Everything that happens is supposed to happen because that's us. I would challenge you. This is your life work. Life work, different from homework. Homework, take it home, do it, never remember it. Life work, take it home, do it, your life will change. I want to challenge you to do something intentionally different, uncomfortable, and new in order to become a better version of you. I'm a better version of me now because I let go of expectations of other people, specifically related to dancing, concert, music, having a good time. And my goal is to let go of expectations related to people, around all things. If I'm able to do that, I'm never disappointed. I accept whatever's offered and take it on as a blessing, as a gift, as a gem, as a jewel. I'm sharing this with you to for you to give yourself an opportunity to do something different that you've never done before. I hope this episode gave you whatever you needed to hear. Please know we do this twice a week, okay? Sundays, Wednesdays, and Gator Talk on Fridays live, and I'm doing IG live. We're transitioning over to the Three Parallels podcast IG page, so we'll be doing live there. Jump in, bring a friend. We're also hosting on Zoom, so I'm using 2 platforms for now, and it's going to change, but that's where we are right now. And I'm just creating based off of what I feel, and what I feel is good. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening. This is where we are. This is who we are. And I'm thankful to share me with you. Till next time. This has been another episode of the Three Parallels podcast with your host, the Dr. Jason Branch, where we rediscover who we were, we embrace who we are, and we make room for who we're trying to become. If this show has been a blessing to you in any way, shape, form, or fashion, give it away. Share it, like, comment, subscribe. Now, a lot of people listening, a lot of folks not subscribing. Your subscription helps me to promote the channel, to promote the page, to promote this show. And if it's been a blessing for you, I'm sure it's a blessing for others, but it doesn't exist because they don't know about it until you decide to share. Take advantage of these gifts. Take advantage of yourself. Take advantage of these moments. Have a great day. Good morning, good evening, good night. Peace.